Davey Hilton taking on the champion from South Africa, Dingaan Thobela. We'll get you back out there in just a few moments. Back here right now on Friday Night Fights. Again, moments away as soon as things get started. They got a lot of introduction to do out there. Once we get started, we'll take you out to that fight live. And again, Bob and Teddy will be calling that fight there in Madison, Wisconsin, where they're going to be calling Eric Morel and Gilberto Quebas. They will call the Montreal fight from Madison, Wisconsin. We'll be upfront about that, of course. But we'll take you out to the first world title fight in just a moment. First, though, Roy Jones Jr. looking for his next bout. Still looking to get signed up, meantime. Could be going back to HBO. And will he be taking on the middleweight champion of the world, Bernard Hopkins? Now, there's an open date for HBO on February 24th. Latest on this right now, there is an impasse, and Roy Jones Jr. has not accepted this deal, evidently not quite satisfied with the money involved, which brings up, Max, is this the right fight for both men? And Roy Jones Jr. wants to get a new deal. People are wondering, who is he going to fight? Well, Hopkins is a credible opponent, but he did beat Hopkins a couple of years ago.
This fight makes sense for both Jones and Hopkins. I don't think that the WBO and Cole and these guys from Germany are really serious about making a Jones-Miklashevsky fight from talking to them. When I spoke to them with Dan Rayfield from USA Today, they were saying, we tried to make Jones an offer for Miklashevsky, meaning Cole, the promoter, and the head of the WBO. That Jones is going to get ripped off if he goes to Germany. So who else is there? From Jones's point of view, he desperately needs a credible opponent, and Bernard Hopkins is certainly that. From Hopkins' point of view, he desperately needs a big fight. Jones is certainly that. This is a fight that makes a lot of sense. Of course, this is not a super fight. Neither is Trinidad Joppy, but Hopkins Trinidad is a super fight. So Hopkins moving up to 168 to fight Roy, unless he gets blown out. If he looks decent against Roy, he has that payday, and he certainly still has a Trinidad fight at 160, and that's the fight ultimately I'd really like to see, Bernard Hopkins and Felix Trinidad.
Well, there's a dearth of talent, really, when you get past 154 pounds, and for people waiting for Felix Trinidad to moving up 2 weight classes, that's a huge jump. So there's Bernard Hopkins. But will this, or could this be any different than it was back in 1993? We love Hopkins here, but again, you're talking about a guy who also beat Virgil Hill with 1 shot, and Hill is now a cruiserweight champion.
No, I don't think the outcome would be different. Maybe even a little bit more one-sided for Jones. Nothing against Bernard, but Jones has grown into a bigger guy than Bernard. And at the time, they were more the same size, and Bernard has really kept his weight at 160, a lot like Hagler. There are a lot of similarities between Hopkins and Hagler. But certainly looking from 160 to 175, who is there for Roy? Until Trinidad gets there, Bernard is the guy if Miklashevsky's out of the picture. So it's a fight, and Roy really needs it. When Hopkins says he's not being offered enough money, he's right. Roy should get more money, but not the lion's share, because I think at this point, in terms of his career and his historical placement, Roy needs Hopkins in a weird way more than Hopkins needs Roy.
Now, the best thing about Bernard Hopkins is, of course, he says, hey, anybody at 54 wants to move up? Here I am. Jones, come back down. I'll fight him, too.
Bernard said he'd go down to 54 to fight guys.
Let's listen in to Bernard Hopkins now.
Hey, I want to fight Roy Jones anywhere he wants to. I'll fight Roy Jones in Pensacola, on a desert, wherever he at. Because my thing is, I know that I am not the same fighter I was 7 years ago. But what Roy Jones have to understand, that HBO is doing all they can to make this fight happen. Now, I'm going to go on record to say this. They're doing everything they can to make this fight happen. Roy Jones Jr. has to step up and not be a pig and take all the money and stick it in his pocket and think that he's going to have another free ride and go about his business. I believe if Roy went to establish himself as best, the pound for pound, which I believe he's lost through Sugar Shane Mosley, Roy Jones Jr. had to do what he's been preaching, is pay for the quality work he wants. And it's up to me to go in the ring and put myself in a better position by beating Roy Jones Jr. But he won't treat me like a Rick Frazier. He won't treat me like an Eric Harding. I'm not a Montel Griffin, first or second fight. He has to treat me like a long-ranging champion that haven't lost in 7 years. Lost a close decision to Roy Jones Jr. I got 13 defense. What Roy has done in weight classes from middleweight to less 75 is great. It's great for him, it's great for his marketability, and it's great for his negotiation tools when he negotiates new contracts. But what Bernard Hopkins has done in his career need to be looked at and not overlooked. So I need you, Roy, knowing that you need me too, just as well as I need you to prove my point that I've been trying to prove for 7 years, is that let's talk, let's get together, let's make what's already on the table right.
Hey, worthwhile. Again, I'd like to see this fight. I'd like to see how it would happen.
You know what comes to mind watching Bernard? The expression, keep it real. Bernard is real. You talk to Bernard Hopkins, you're not talking to a guy fed lines by a promoter. He's a free agent, and he says whatever's in his heart. excellent fighter, potentially a great fighter, deserves all the big fights in the world. There is no middleweight title fight. Attention, Don King and Felix Trinidad. No middleweight title fight without Bernard Hopkins.
Absolutely. Meantime, there is a super middleweight title fight right here on Friday Night Fights. Dingaan Thobela there, the champion, coming into the ring in Montreal. Bob and Teddy will call the action in the title fight when we come back.
Looking for the perfect gift this holiday season? The one at the right price that offers more of what you want? It's AT&T Digital Cable. It's nonstop entertainment. It's endless variety. And it's more channels of the most popular premium services at no extra cost. AT&T Digital Cable. It's the most entertaining gift of all. And with an offer this good, there's never been a better time to get connected than right now. AT&T Digital Cable.
Call 1-800-482-4669.
America's Sofa Superstore, your superstore.
At America's Sofa Superstore, you always get more. Buy any living room or family room. Get the sofa, love seat, coffee table, end table, and lamp all at one low price. And there's more. This week, pay absolutely nothing for 1 full year. Plus, you'll get free next-day delivery on anything in stock.
America's Sofa Superstore, your superstore.
Bob Papa, Teddy Atlas getting set here on Friday Night Fights, presented by Miller High, live from the Molson Center in Montreal, Canada, via satellite. Dingaan Thobela and Davey Hilton for the WBC Super Middleweight Championship. 20,000 fans on hand in Montreal. And both men have made their way into the ring as we get set for this world title bout. The first of two tonight here on Friday Night Fights. And we are getting ready for the introductions for the two combatants. Davey Hilton will be introduced first. The 37-year-old from LaSalle, Quebec.
In association with Cedric Kushner Promotions, represented here by ringside.
And there is Dingaan Thobela from Soweto in South Africa.
Coming
off the win against Glenn Catley to win the title on September the 1st.
Et sanctionné par le Conseil mondial de la boxe, son président, Monsieur José Sulaiman.
Davey Hilton has spent the last 2 months in a detax center, the Salvation Army, in Montreal, admitting that he is an alcoholic and he needs to turn his life around. Thobela has been in the Montreal area for about 11 days or so. I spoke with him on the phone yesterday from Montreal, and he says he has adjusted. The one thing he's not digging is the cold weather up north. Remember, in South Africa, it is the middle of summer.
D'abord, le combat est sous la surveillance médicale des docteurs Pierre Meunier et Marc Gagné.
Well, we've seen Davey Hilton here on Friday Night Fights a couple of times over the last few years. In November of 1998, he took on Stefan Willett in their first of 3 meetings, sold out Molson Center. Hilton trailing on all 3 judges' cards, but he stopped Willett in the 12th round to get a thrilling win. Then they had the rematch here on Friday Night Fights, May of 1999. This time it was not even close. Willett looked a bit gun-shy, and Hilton finished him off in the 3rd round. Then they squared off again here on Friday Night Fights, September of this year, again at the Molson Center. And Stefan Willett threw almost 600 more punches. Hilton did not look very good, and Willett won an easy, unanimous decision. And Hilton admitted he was not ready for that fight. They always say that when they lose. But he admitted that the drinking problems and everything else caused him to be soft. Hilton weighed in at 160 pounds, says he's about 164. Walking into the ring tonight, 38-2 with 26 knockouts. He has never been stopped.
Et le champion canadien des poids moyens, ladies and gentlemen, he is ranked 14th by the WBC and is also the current Canadian middleweight champion, Davey Hilton.
It seems that the crowd is behind Hilton. You know, in his fights against Willett, it's been about a 50-50 mix, probably even more in favor of Willett.
Noir et or, et pesant 166,4 livres, introducing, fighting out of the blue corner.
Dingaan Thobela being introduced now to the crowd.
Wearing black trunks with gold trim and weighing in at 166.4
40-7.
pounds.
26 knockouts. He has been stopped once. He is also the former WBA lightweight champion of the world. Teddy, this guy started as a featherweight. Now he's the super middleweight champion. But he had a win against Tony Lopez in 1993 to win the lightweight championship. So he knows how to wear a crown.
Yes, he does. And he has fought the better opponents, 3 world champions, and he's beaten 2 of them.
And we are having a problem with the satellite feed from Montreal. Well, problems from Montreal. There's heavy snow here in Madison, Wisconsin. We're going to check in with Brian and Max as we try to get the satellite feed back up. Guys?
All right, guys, thank you very much. You know, we had an ice storm here in Bristol, and, you know, we're fine.
With 2 championship fights in 2 different countries, it's never going to go off without a little hitch, but we're going to get right back on.
We'll get you back out there again. Dingaan Thobela is the champion, super middleweight champion. Davey Hilton is challenging for the title. Davey Hilton, we've seen here before. The thing to remember about Hilton, now, no matter what happens, and Thobela is a former champion, but at lightweight, Hilton was losing, I think, about 9 rounds against Stefan Willett the first time around. With about 19 seconds left in the fight, he stopped Willett. So Hilton will really never be out of this fight. He could be the stronger man in the ring tonight.
No question. And Thobela's also a guy, he came up from a lighter weight. He reminds me a little bit, if he beats Hilton tonight and goes on to do some stuff, Thobela is kind of like a Luisito Espinoza type. Espinoza wins a title at a lighter weight class at first, doesn't really look dominant, loses it in his first or second defense, then reemerges a couple weight classes heavier as a dominant champion. Thobela at 135, 140, in that range about 5 or 6, 7 years ago, was a pretty good fighter, but nothing special. All of a sudden reemerges at 168 pounds and wins a title. Sometimes when a guy fights where naturally he's more comfortable, when what his body grows into, instead of trying to make weight, he becomes a more effective fighter.
Meantime, we'll take a break right now. Again, we're having technical difficulties between Madison, Wisconsin, and up in Montreal, but we'll take you out to the world title fight as soon as we straighten that all out. First, programming note before we take a break, and then we'll get back out to Montreal. This tomorrow morning, wake up early and see the Classic Roadshow on ESPN Classic from Three Rivers Stadium as they get ready to move on out. They talk about the classic days of the Pirates and the Steelers as they get ready for a new stadium in Pittsburgh. Again, you can see that tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPN Classic. We'll be right back on Friday Night Fights. We'll take you back out to Montreal when we come back.
A 1 to 2 to 4 mix of concrete increases in bulk 26%. 1 to 2 to 5 increases 18%. 1 to 3 to 5 increases. Whew, this is getting pretty heavy. Better lighten things up a bit. There you go, Professor. Now you're cooking. Sometimes the light way is the right way to live the high life.
Performance Fleece.
This week's featured gift is something bold and bright. So hurry, don't delay. Performance Fleece is here today.
This week only, Performance Fleece half-zip pullovers for the whole family. Just $10.50 to $16.50.
Old Navy item of the week, item of the week, a new item every week.
Price so low you can't say no.
The selection just can't be beat.
Two plays for $1. When I was a kid, a handful of nickels to keep the jukebox playing all night long.
Yeah, you know, you can't get much for $1 these days.
Yeah, but you can get all your long-distance calls for just 99 cents.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
He's right. Just dial 1010-220 and all calls up to 20 minutes are only 99 cents and just 7 cents a minute after that. No fees, no signing up. Just dial 1010-220.
Get yourself out of here. How do you like me now?
Ed, how do you intimidate another player?
For everyone.
And remember, right after Friday Night Fights, Friday evenings, you have the 2-minute drill hosted by Kenny Mayne. Test your sports trivia knowledge. Second only to earn your dessert. What was the question you got?
I can't mess with these guys on
no.
2-minute drill, man. This isn't rigged, Brian. This is for real. I can't believe this. This is like quiz show, right? I mean, I can't believe any people know this much about sports.
Right after Friday Night Fights, 2-minute drill with Kenny Mayne. You've been pretty good at boxing. All right, right here on Friday Night Fights, let's talk about super middleweights. Again, we're going to try to get you back out to Montreal. We have Dingaan, Thobela, and Davey Hilton. A little satellite difficulty right now, but that's a super middleweight title fight. Meantime, you've got super middleweights here. Richie Woodhall is a guy who lost his super middleweight title to Marcus Beyer, taking on Joe Calzaghe, who is one of the possible opponents. There's a lot of those guys now, but a possible opponent for Roy Jones Jr., who is also now coming down to super middleweight.
You know, I've always said that who cares about European fighters if you never see them on, or any foreign fighters if you never see them on American television? Do you care? Do I care if you're just reading about them in a boxing magazine or on a website, or you hear about them on Friday Night Fights? You have to see these guys to care. Well, the best thing that could happen for a guy like Calzaghe is getting on American television. Now he's in our boxing universe. We can look at him, evaluate him, decide to root for him or not, imagine who he can fight. This fight makes a lot of sense to put on American TV.
Well, we saw him against Omar Shika, and there he showed his caliber,
Absolutely.
at least a top-level world-class guy. And we'll see again at 168, if you have Hopkins moving up, if you have Trinidad moving up, and you have Jones moving down, a lot of these guys get squashed on the way out. Meantime, same card, you've got Acelino Freitas, who has, that record that you can only dream about, 27-0 with 27 knockouts. And he's now outside of Brazil, fighting outside of Brazil. He'll be also on the same card with Calzaghe and Woodhall, taking on Daniel Alicea, who you've seen before.
Yeah, Alicea is the first guy to knock down Prince Nassim Hamed. We've seen him here lose a tough decision to Lamar Murphy. He's a tough kid, kind of gives you the impression of a kind of a frail guy because he is so tall and thin, and you never really believe these guys can take a punch, but he showed in his last fight that he can take a punch. Of course, he is there to be hit. He's not a huge puncher himself, and Freitas is a real puncher and a real good athlete. Freitas has plenty of problems. He's kind of a version of Costa Zoo, a guy who's a little bit easy to hit, good offense, very aggressive, is going to be exciting in every fight for his career, is going to be a fun guy to watch. Doesn't look like an invincible guy, but Alicea, it looks like, is there to make Freitas look very good.
Again, we're just running through some of the top news of the day here and looking at the fights coming up ahead. Again, we apologize having satellite difficulties from Montreal in the super middleweight title fight. Davey Hilton and Dingaan Thobela. We'll take you back out there as soon as we can. We're still having problems. Meantime, we do have live boxing. Eric Morel, Gabacho Kelbes from Madison, Wisconsin. We take a break, but we'll be back right after this.
I'm the Firestorm cordless drill. I've got a 2-speed gearbox for higher torque, so I pack a bigger punch. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. I'm the Firestorm cordless drill. I am built by Black & Decker.
The 2001 ESPN Information Please Sports Almanac has arrived. The most complete stats and information. Contributions from Chris Berman, Dan Patrick, and Stuart Scott. ESPN's 2001 Almanac. A great holiday gift in bookstores now.
ESPN.com's like all excited about their sports news and stuff. But all it is like words. And reading. Oh, be careful. My old roommate, she had a really cute boyfriend who liked to read. I mean, like, really hard all the time. And then his eyes wore out. And then he had to get glasses. It's just so sad. Now he looks like a nerd.
Bob Papa, Teddy Atlas back in Madison, Wisconsin. As you can see, we have gotten our feedback from Montreal. Davey Hilton, Dingaan Thobela, getting ready for the start of round number 3. Hilton told us yesterday when we spoke with him on the phone, Teddy, that the key for him are body shots. And you're going to get a look at him digging body shots to Thobela's midsection. He felt Thobela looked a little soft around the middle. And now reports from Montreal, the guy we have on the phone back there, Bob Yellen, said that that's exactly what Hilton has done through the first 2 rounds of this fight, attack the body.
And from what we understand from Bob Yellen is he feels that that body attacking has carried Hilton, in his opinion, in the first 2 rounds. It would make sense to go to the body with Thobela. He's soft there, and he covers up, which allows you, in that peekaboo stance, allows you to attack around his elbows.
When I was talking with Thobela yesterday on the phone, the one concern he had, he felt he could get a fair shake in Montreal. Thobela didn't like that right hand to the body. He felt that because of his peekaboo style and the little rope-a-dope he likes to do, that referee Elmo Adolph, who he says is a good referee, tends to stop fights quickly, and he was very concerned that he could be on the ropes blocking a lot of shots and the bout could get stopped.
Hilton's favorite punch is that left hook to the body and to the head. The best punch for Thobela is usually that uppercut, and that can be a very useful punch on the inside with Hilton, who covers up and sometimes does not move his head. The uppercut can explode up in between that guard of Hilton.
Teddy, it seems from what we've seen so far that Thobela really is not handling the body shots very well. He's kind of going back and he's sort of reacting every time he gets hit to a body shot.
Well, at 34 years of age, doesn't have a lot of legs, and at a much heavier weight class than he was when he was at his best when he first turned pro as a featherweight, and of course winning the title as a lightweight. He is not able to move away from those body shots of Hilton. He just covers up, and when you cover up, you leave yourself open for the man if he wants to go to the body, especially if he's smart enough to go around the elbows.
Thobela won the title in September against Glenn Catley in South Africa, stopped him in the 12th round. Catley, according to Thobela, was a gracious loser until a few weeks after, when they said that there were loaded gloves for Thobela. Left hand there by Hilton. Thobela says that the supervisor watched his hands get wrapped and watched him get gloved, and they were signed off on. So he doesn't know what all the controversy is about.
Look for that uppercut from Thobela on the inside. And look for the little trick. Watch that left glove of Hilton. He's holding Thobela behind the neck.
And he's been cautioned for it once already.
See, he was doing it smart before. He was doing when the referee was on his right-hand side. But the referee, an experienced referee, moved over to the other side and was able to see the left hand of Hilton behind the head of Thobela, trying to hold the head and then, of course, punch with the uppercut.
Counter left hand by Hilton. Final seconds of the third round. So far, Davey Hilton has been able to control the bout with good punches to the body against the champion, Thobela.
Me and my buddies here work for Texaco. We found oil under this lake in Southeast Asia. But instead of building a rig out in the water, we used a technique called horizontal drilling. That way we help protect the environment. So the only threat we pose to the fish is if we catch them. And let's face it, that's just not gonna happen.
He's been naughty. She's real nice. So what happens when a railroad tycoon unwraps a 120-pound present?
More diamonds!
Find out this December in Thank You, Santa.
Forget those other holiday movies. See the only one worth seeing. The one with that handsome green guy.
Peel the label off specially marked 2 liters of Sprite and get $4 off the movie of your choice.
Round 4 underway via satellite from Montreal. Bob Papa along with Teddy Atlas, Davey Hilton in the red, Dingaan Thobela, the reigning WBC super middleweight champion, in the black trunks. So far, Hilton has been able to use the body attack through the first 3 rounds to control this fight.
Look out for that quick counter left hook of Davey Hilton, who can use good hand speed at this weight, having been turned pro when he was 17 years old at lightweight and spent most of his career as a welterweight. That hand speed is still there.
Today, when I spoke with Hilton yesterday, as he takes some wide hooks to the body, he said, listen, I can't sustain the attack that I did in my younger days. I'm going to pick my spots, certain parts of the round. I'm going to start the round quickly, pace myself, try to finish rounds strongly.
Hilton has always had a good chin. In his 20-year career, has always been inactive many of those years, only been on the floor 2 times. Thobela has been knocked out 1 time in his career. There's that uppercut we were talking about earlier that I thought would be effective for Thobela on the inside, Bob, because Hilton will cover up and lay in the middle. You can split his guard with that uppercut. And there it is again for Thobela. Better round for Thobela. One of the flaws in the makeup, in the offensive makeup of Hilton is he will only fight in spots and can be outworked sometimes, out-hustled.
Well, he pumps the double left hand to the body. In his last fight against Willett threw nearly 600 more punches. In fact, Willett landed 329 punches, almost as many as Hilton threw in the fight.
Funny thing going on here that I see anyway. Hilton thinks he's being smart, putting his hand behind Thobela's head to hold him so he can hit him. But actually, it's leaving him open for the uppercut of Thobela.
Thobela flashing some leather to the body.
There's the glove. Every time Hilton gets inside, watch that left glove. Goes behind the head of Thobela. Wanting to hold Thobela still so he can hit him. But leaving himself open, I think, for uppercuts. Hilton, that is. Both fighters only offensively really fight in spurts, Bob. The jab could be a very effective weapon in this fight.
Thobela throws his jab. Hilton blocked both of them. Much better round 4 for Dingaan Thobela.
Try this. Call up your auto insurance company and ask them to give you a quote.
And then ask them to give you the prices of their 3 major competitors also.
See what they say.
Progressive wants you to know that 6-month rates can really vary from company to company.
On average, you could be paying $522 more than you have to.
If you're not shopping around, you could be losing a lot of money.
Call Progressive at 1-800-AUTO-PRO or visit us online at progressive.com.
We'll give you our price, and if you'd like, the rates from up to 3 other leading companies.
Even if their prices are lower than ours.
I didn't believe it either, but it's true. I can go online 24 hours a day and compare rates.
We have these things called IRVs, immediate response vehicles.
It's like a mini claims office right there in the car.
So call us right now at 1-800-AUTO-PRO.
If we can't save you money on auto insurance, we'll tell you who can.
Shop and buy at progressive.com or call 1-800-AUTO-PRO.
Davey Hilton, Dingaan Thobela underway, round number 5. At stake, Thobela's WBC Super Middleweight Championship, making the first defense of his title. This is the first world title fight in Montreal since Davey Hilton's brother Matthew won the title back in 1987, the junior middleweight title against Buster Drayton.
A little shoe shine there from Hilton to score points, or maybe later on set up a headshot. Thobela allows those opportunities by just covering up. A lot of people out there would ask, why did Hilton get this title shot? And they'd be right to ask in curiosity, coming off a loss to Stefan Willetna's last fight. Well, I would say money. He's able to draw a huge crowd in the Molson Center in Canada, and Thobela could go up there and make more money for a title defense than he could somewhere else.
And Thobela picked Hilton, saw the tape against Willett and said, I'll take that guy. The winner of this fight, at least what we've been told, must fight Catley in the next fight. Hilton ripping hooks to the body. Teddy's scorecard through the first 4 rounds. You have a 39-38 Hilton. I have a 39-37.
Of course, I would have to explain that we did not see the first 2 rounds. I am giving them to Hilton on the word of the people that watched the fight on our monitors in Bristol, Connecticut.
Well, actually, in Montreal, via the phone, we got information. Bob Yellen is ringside in Montreal, so he was there, and he gave us his Atlas scoring. Hilton faces assault charges in January. He has to go to court. His pay was garnished before he ever stepped into the ring against Willett. And his estranged wife, he says, filed these false charges against him, but he says it has not affected his preparation. Always a cloud around Hilton. Usually out of the ring.
Comes from a family of 5 fighting brothers. One of the brothers, there was a lot of tragedy in the family. One of the brothers, Stewart, was killed in a car accident.
It's a very nondescript 5th round. Other than a couple of body shots early, we haven't seen much from either guy. We'll see if they pick it up in the 6th.
He's been naughty. She's real nice. So what happens when a railroad tycoon unwraps a 120-pound present?
More diamonds!
Find out this December in Thank You, Santa.
Forget those other holiday movies. See the only one worth seeing. The one with that handsome green guy.
Peel the label off specially marked 2 liters of Sprite and get $4 off the movie of your choice.
Teddy, I mentioned the Matthew Hilton, the brother of Davey, a former world champion.
June 27th, 1987, 13 years ago, the last time there was a championship fight in Montreal for the junior middleweight title. And as you said, Matthew Hilton, with those wide punches, beat the older Buster Drayton to win the IBF junior middleweight title in a 15-round decision. And his brother, Davey, is hoping to follow suit.
We got a quick look at Glenn Catley, who lost his title to Thobela. Once again, according to the WBC, because of that cloud with Thobela winning the title against Catley with the quote-unquote or alleged loaded gloves, WBC says the winner of this fight has to give Catley a rematch.
Both these fighters mirror each other in spots. They fight only in opportune moments.
Hilton with a low blow.
A lot of times when they're not busy, and they both come up, giving each other opportunities to get off with punches.
Hilton has done a pretty good job, though, with his right hand to the body of Catley.
So far, it's the body punching of Hilton, particularly that left hook, and the uppercuts of Thobela that have been the prime choices of offense for both fighters. Again, when Hilton gets inside, he'll look to put that left hand behind, there it is, behind the head of Thobela. He's not doing anything with it right now. This is where Hilton needs to work. He has Thobela on the rope.
Thobela was worried about being against the ropes, blocking punches, and the referee stopping it. Hilton's not throwing any punches.
Again, Hilton positions that left hand behind the neck of Thobela, looking to hold him still. But I believe leaves himself open for an uppercut.
Thobela responds to Hilton's left hook with a right hook to the body of his own.
Giving him a taste of his own medicine. Fighting fire with fire. Sometimes that's a good way to take away somebody going to your body. Hit them in the body. And all of a sudden they make a silent agreement with themselves. Okay, I won't hit you in the body no more. That is the psychology behind a fighter who has been getting banged on the body, deciding to go to the body of his opponent.
Hilton missed with the uppercut.
That uppercut again, very effective for Thobela on the inside. Hilton covers up, does not move his head enough.
Nice counter left by Hilton.
That's his most dangerous punch, Bob. And it comes off the counters. And he has enough hand speed to get it in clean.
Elmo Adolph, not winning any fans in Montreal. We've seen Elmo many times here on Friday Night Fights. He works the Southeast, Nolans and Biloxi. We hit the end of round 6, midway point.
Ever wonder what goes on inside that miracle worker you call a tool? Watch it take that edge right off. And when your router's done its job, here's something else to take the edge off. That's right. Here's to you, router.
Performance Fleece.
This week's featured gift,
It's something bold and bright. So hurry, don't delay. Performance Fleece is here today.
This week only, Performance Fleece half-zip pullovers for the whole family. Just $10.50 to $16.50.
Old Navy item of the week, item of the week, a new item every week.
Price so low, you can't say no.
The selection just can't be beat.
Dingaan Thobela, known as the Rose of Soweto from South Africa, making the first defense of his WBC super middleweight title. Davey Hilton, the 37-year-old from just outside of Montreal, his first world title shot. Hilton has maintained a steady body attack throughout most of the fight.
Where Thobela has to be careful is after he throws his right hand, he must move his head or cover very fast, because that sneaky, quick left hook comes from Hilton.
Teddy's scorecard through 6, 58-57 Thobela. Have it even 57 all.
Watch the right hand of Thobela. Every once in a while when he throws it, when he misses it, drops. It does not cover straight. That can leave an opening for that counter left hook from Hilton, which is Hilton's best punch, as we've mentioned several times. Hilton does something dangerous, I believe, on the inside again. Falls forward and looks to put his left hand behind the head of Thobela and leaves himself open for the uppercut, which he was just hit with twice by Thobela. You know what, Bob? You mentioned those right hands to the body that Thobela threw the last round back at Hilton. Guess what? Hilton has not thrown any body punches this round.
Yeah, I think just one to start the round, a left hand, that was it. Fans at the Molson Center trying to get behind Hilton, chant of Davey.
Thobela gave Hilton a little taste of his own medicine with those body shots the last round. So far, it served him well. Those uppercuts by Thobela on the inside serve him well.
Let's see if Thobela goes back to the body punches.
The busier man, the more consistent man offensively seems to be Thobela. Both fighters have the habit of fighting in spots, but Hilton a little more so.
A right-left combination to the body, then he brings the left up top, this Hilton.
There's one of the spots coming from Hilton right here.
Well, he's trying to steal the round.
Yes, he is. And Thobela did carry the first half or 3/4 of the round. What will the judges see?
Thobela wading in. Hilton trying the left hand. Nice combination by Thobela.
I'm the Firestorm cordless drill. I've got a 2-speed gearbox for higher torque, so I pack a bigger punch. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. I'm the Firestorm cordless drill. I am built by Black & Decker.
Las Vegas Bowl. The red-hot Razorback offense is on a roll, but will UNLV's aggressive passing attack hit the jackpot? Las Vegas Bowl. Arkansas versus UNLV at 8, Thursday on ESPN2.
She walked through the door with enough heat to melt the ice at First Union Center. She was trouble from the start. She wanted to know my credentials. I told her about being the alternate captain, about the 7 All-Star appearances. I told her I was one of the best two-way players around. And that's when she slapped me. I guess I had to explain that one.
Flyers Bruins at 7, Flames Avalanche at 10, Tuesday on ESPN2.
Dingaan Thobela defending his WBC super middleweight title against Davey Hilton. Bob Hoppa, Teddy Atlas. Friday night fights. You are looking live via satellite in Montreal at the Molson Center. Still to come from here in Madison, Wisconsin. We'll bring you Eric Morel's flyweight title defense. Teddy, you mused at the end of the last round, and then while we were away in commercial, Thobela carried over 2 minutes of that last round. Hilton rallied in the last 30 seconds. All 3 judges are from the United States. Oren Schellenberger, Barbara Perez, and Julie Letterman.
I wonder who they gave that round to. I'm curious to see if this goes the distance and if there is any controversy in this fight. I'd like to see who got that round, because it seemed, as we just said, Thobela carried 3/4 of the round, and there was a flash trying to steal the round, as you said, by Hilton.
Well, at least for Thobela's sake, none of the judges are from Canada.
But will they be influenced by the environment? Professional judges? No, they shouldn't be.
Teddy's scorecard, you have Thobela ahead by 2. I'm ahead by 1 point. Hilton puts his punches together nicely.
A lot of those punches being blocked, but he will be winning this part of the round that he's punching, and Thobela is not. And more importantly, he is getting the crowd into the fight, which can help him, actually, down the stretch in a close fight. Pump him up a little bit. Kind of like fighting outside when Wilfredo Benitez won the junior welterweight title as the youngest man ever, 17 years old, against Kid Cervantes, Antonio Cervantes, Kid Pompey. And it started raining outdoors in Puerto Rico. It woke up, gave new life to Benitez. Well, the crowd can wake up Hilton going down the street, down the stretch, and give him new life if he needs it. The left hook, the most used weapon for Hilton, but sometimes it's wide. And the right hand of Thobela could possibly get inside one of those left hooks. That's what Thobela should look to do. I like the chances of a right hand beating a left hook, especially if that left hook's wide.
Well, Hilton carried most of this 8th round against Thobela.
Gifts that bring out the fun in everyone. Turn on the fun. Best Buy.
Friday Night Fights on ESPN2, presented by Miller High Life. Capitol Building in Madison, Wisconsin. Snowy, cold in Montreal. The Hilton brothers have always warmed up the environment for the fans in Montreal. Davey Hilton fighting for a title for the first time. Matthew, the former world champion. Jimmy is in the corner of Davey. Alex fought earlier tonight, lost, and the late brother Stewart.
Jimmy in the corner with his brother Davey. Jimmy never turned pro and is now a trainer.
Round 9 underway. Dingaan Thobela from South Africa. 11-hour flight to Frankfurt. Then Frankfurt to London and London to Montreal 11 days ago. Says it took him a day or two to adjust. Hilton puts together a nice combination.
What you just mentioned about that long trip, those are some of the intangible elements that I believe can give Hilton a big edge coming down the stretch in this fight.
Well, I spoke with Thobela yesterday, and he said it was too cold to run outside. He's done all his road work on the treadmill. Is that a factor?
Yes, that can be a factor. There's no substitute for regular running outside when it comes to really conditioning the lungs. The treadmill is good, especially good for white-collar guys, but not the best thing when you're preparing for a world title. And Hilton, being used to the cold, I'm sure he was running on the outside. So yes, that can be a conditioning advantage for Hilton. And also, as you said, he came here about 11, 12 days ago from South Africa. Usually takes about 2 weeks to acclimate to that long trip. So coming down the stretch, advantage can be Hilton. There's that left hand behind the head of Thobela again.
Well, for Thobela's body clock, it feels like Saturday morning. Are you surprised Thobela has not used more of a jab?
Yeah, I am a little bit. Because the opportunity is definitely there. When he has used it, it's scored well. And as I said before, both these fighters fight in spots. Whoever does use the jab will separate themselves, have an advantage. Both fighters fight in spots. And a consistent jab would alleviate some of those spots and would give that guy an advantage.
Hilton has been fairly consistent in this fight, going to the body.
There's that right hand we spoke about the last round, Bob. The right hand, if straight, can beat that left hook. That time it was not straight. You want proof whether or not a right hand can beat a left hook, just go back and ask Antonio Barrera when he was knocked out by Junior Jones. Junior Jones landed that right hand inside one of those left hooks of Barrera.
Good start to the round for Hilton. Thobela picked it up in the second half.
Attention Medicare HMO members who will lose their coverage effective January 1st, 2001. Medicare and Medicare supplements typically don't cover most outpatient prescription drugs. If you are losing your current prescription drug coverage, get the People's Prescription Plan now. You'll save money right on the spot with no claim forms. Plus, you can save on eyewear, hearing aids, and more, all at over 50,000 locations nationwide. Just $7.95 a month covers your whole household with no limits on use, so it could more than pay for itself the very first time you use it. As a special offer, when you call now, you'll pay just $2.95 for the first month, a savings of $5 off the regular price. Your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. So if your HMO is dropping its Medicare plan, People's Prescription Plan can offer you savings on your prescriptions. Call now.
Call 1-800-762-6666 for free information on the People's Prescription Plan. 1-800-762-6666. Call now.
Round number 10 underway. Davey Hilton, Dingaan Thobela. Neither man has been down. Neither man has been hurt. Fight is operated in fits and starts. Thobela making the first defense of his WBC Super Middleweight Championship. Hilton told us yesterday he had butterflies just thinking about fighting for a world title. And he says if he wins, he's made sure he, along with his counselor, Larry Connors, from the detox center that he's been living in for the last 2 months, we'll go have a pizza and a Coca-Cola. We're going to keep all the bad people away from him as he is trying to beat alcoholism.
I believe the last time a fighter challenged for a title while in a detox center was probably Oliver McCall when he lost to Lennox Lewis.
Teddy, a very close fight. Right hand over the top by Hilton. What does Thobela have to do to try to seize control?
Well, one thing is not lay inside and not punch. When he lays inside and doesn't punch, he allows Hilton to have those spots. When he punches like he is now, he keeps Hilton defensive. But when he's finished punching, that's the key. Don't pull straight back where he can put himself in position to get caught with that left hook of Hilton. And don't lay in front of Hilton. Walk around Hilton a little bit. And as you mentioned earlier, on the outside, Thobela should be using that jab. Hilton gives him the chance.
Hilton ahead by a point. You have it even. Through 9.
The way, the pattern this fight has been going so far is early on in the rounds, it's Thobela. And then as the later part of the round comes, it's what you see here. Hilton looking to maybe steal the rounds in the eyes of the judges. And also looking to pace himself.
Right hand to the chest by Hilton after Thobela landed an uppercut. Teddy, why would it be a key for Thobela every time he feels Hilton's glove, left glove around his head? Why wouldn't it just be automatic to throw an uppercut inside?
It should be. And he has thrown it, but not quite as consistently as you would like, or his corner, I'm sure, would like him to do. Sometimes you get lazy. Sometimes you lose focus. Sometimes that old D word is not working. Discipline. That uppercut is there all night for Thobela against Hilton, who walks straight in and keeps his hands up.
That time Thobela landed a right hand. Hilton goes to the body as he's done all night.
Hi, I'm Chief Don Mensmer of the California Highway Patrol. The employees of the Highway Patrol are all part of one big family. During the holidays, our officers will be working hard to keep your friends and families safe. Please help us by celebrating responsibly.
Happy holidays!
Please, don't drink and drive.
If you'd like information on how to start an exciting career with the California Highway Patrol, call us at 1-888 for a CHP job or visit us on the web.
By expanding the narrow pipeline information passes through, AT&T's broadband technology is removing the obstacles that keep data, voice, and video from moving freely. Coming through.
Championship rounds underway. Dingaan, Thobela, Davey, Hilton. Round number 11. Very close fight. Thobela's WBC Super Middleweight Championship on the line. Been no knockdowns in the fight. I don't think either guy has really been hurt. Left cross by Hilton.
That left hook is there for Hilton. It's his best punch, his most explosive punch. And the opportunities are created when Thobela misses his right hand. It does not cover fast enough.
That time was bad punch selection by Thobela. He tried the uppercut when Hilton had the defense up.
You do not want to throw that uppercut from too far away. Then you leave yourself wide open for a counter because there is a hole, a gap.
Ask Buster Douglas against Evander Holyfield.
Absolutely. Ask Michael Nunn against James Toney.
Teddy's scorecard, 96-95 Thobela. I have it even through 10.
At the time, Michael Nunn was an undefeated champion, facing the challenge of James Toney, and Michael Nunn was winning the fight until he threw an uppercut from too far away and got caught a counter from James Toney. Look for the spots now. And look for Hilton to try to steal the round.
Even though we're not in Montreal, but we've been there, the scoreboard in the Molson Center has the time, and the respective corners will yell out to the boxers. 30 seconds to go in the round.
Look at the glove behind the head of Thobela. The referee needs to warn Hilton and slap his hand away.
He warned him early, did Elmo Adolf, but he hasn't since.
That can be a dangerous foul, because if you hold the man's head and then punch, which Hilton is trying to do there, the head cannot give, and you take the full impact of the punch. That time, Hilton tried to counter with that quick left hook again, but Thobela covered fast with the right hand. All you have to look for in this fight is the uppercut on the inside of Thobela, and look for that left hook from Hilton, especially when Thobela misses the right hand. In other words, Thobela better be careful now when he throws right hands. They're very sharp, and they do not linger. They cover back to that jaw.
Well, Hilton landed the flashier of the punches in that round. The trainer for Dingaan, Thobela. Now we'll go to Hilton's corner first. Chuck Telhami is his trainer.
Let them go. Let them go. Don't look for one shot. Then water. Et vite avec ça. Vite. Davey. Last round, Davey. Last round. Don't look for one shot. Take a deep breath. Keep breathing. Deep. Another one.
Len Catley checking it out to the right of your screen. Yvonne Michel and Eric Lucas. Yvonne Michel with the tie, Eric Lucas with the crew cut. Lucas and Hilton were supposed to fight a couple times. He broke his hand. Elias Shabalala, the trainer for Thobela. All right, Teddy. 3 minutes to go. Will Hilton win his first world title at the age of 37? He said he had butterflies just thinking about it. Let's see if he puts those aside. He's coming out throwing the leather.
Well, I have this fight about as tight as you can have it. So this last round can very well decide the world championship.
Thobela knew he needed a big round against Catley. He stopped him in the last round to win the title back in September. You and I have it close, but we're in Madison, Wisconsin. We're not ringside. All three judges are from the United States. So there's no home cooking. You have it dead even. I have Hilton by a point.
One thing I will say, Hilton has not made any adjustments to deal with that uppercut right from the beginning, which looked to me to be the punch to worry about all night long from Thobela, being that Hilton covers up and lays in the middle.
Each guy has one 12th round knockout. Of course, Hilton against Ouellette back in '98 here on Friday Night Fights. Thobela against Catley.
See, if Hilton would move his head on the side, that uppercut would not be there for Thobela. But laying in the middle and keeping your gloves up, that uppercut is there for Thobela.
Hilton started the round out quickly. Good right hand inside. Counter left by Hilton, missed.
And that right hand was in the form of an uppercut from Thobela. Hilton's looking to close the show in front of all these people.
Catley made a miss, though.
Even though it's down to the last minute, Thobela has to be careful that he doesn't leave an opening for that left hook of Hilton's. In other words, Thobela must not throw that right hand and be lazy. And he almost was right there. And that's what Hilton's looking for, Bob. Thobela must snap that right hand. Again, Hilton's looking for that left hook. Thobela's looking for that right hand. Pretty interesting. Some good championship stuff going on right here.
Again, Hilton looking for the counter left. Didn't find it that time.
And while Hilton's throwing those quick, flashy left hooks, they are not landing as cleanly as the right hands were landing of Thobela early.
There's the bell to end it. Has Thobela kept his title? Has Davey Hilton fulfilled a dream? We'll get the judges' cards after this timeout on Friday Night Fights.
Apparently, some people don't know Dremel also makes cordless rotary tools. Dremel cordless rotary tools. For every problem, there's a Dremel solution.
ESPN's Full Court brings you over 450 games of the top schools from the biggest conferences you won't see anywhere else. To order, call your cable company, DirecTV at 1-800-GET-SPORTS, or Dish Network at 1-800-333-DISH.
It's crunch time. This Monday at 7, find out who can stand the heat and advance in ESPN's 2-minute drill tournament.
Which California NFL? Chargers.
Correct.
Who's former second? Jason Kidd. What NHL expansion team? Sharks.
Only 2 spots remain on the road to the final 3. On Christmas Day, one champion will walk away with up to $200,000 and bragging rights for a lifetime. ESPN's 2-minute drill. Semifinals continue Monday at 7 on ESPN.
He's been naughty. She's real nice. So what happens when a railroad tycoon unwraps a 120-pound present?
More diamonds!
Find out this December in Thank You, Santa.
Forget those other holiday movies. See the only one worth seeing. The one with that handsome green guy.
Peel the label off specially marked 2 liters of Sprite and get $4 off the movie of your choice.
Performance Fleece.
This week's featured gift is something bold and bright. So hurry, don't delay. Performance Fleece is here today.
This week only, Performance Fleece half-zip pullovers for the whole family. Just $10.50 to $16.50.
Old Navy item of the week, item of the week, a new item every week.
Price so low you can't say no.
The selection just can't be beat.
20,000 fans at the Molson Center awaiting the decision. Dingaan, Thobela, Davey, Hilton. Hilton hoping to finally capture that elusive championship. Teddy, your scorecard through 12 rounds, 115, 114 Thobela. I have it a draw, 114, 114.
Either way you look at it, I would think it has to be close.
All 3 judges from the United States. I'm sure now that the action is done, more butterflies for Davey Hilton.
If you want to be cynical for a minute, just for a second, who could make more money if they have the title? Probably Hilton. I'm not saying that's going to influence the decision. I think they are capable judges.
You'll get it in French and English. And we are waiting for those cards to
Once
be
again,
tallied.
ladies and gentlemen, a good round of applause for these 2 warriors. Bonne main d'applaudissements pour ces 2 guerriers. Mesdames, Messieurs, voici maintenant la décision des juges. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the judge's decision. Nous avons une décision partagée. We have a split decision. Le juge Schellenberger remet une carte de 115-113 Thobela. Judge Schellenberger scores it 115-113 Thobela. Le juge Perez 117-111. Judge Perez scores it 117-111 Hilton. Et le juge Lederman 115-113. Judge Lederman scores it 115-113 for the winner and new WBC Super Middleweight Champion, Davey Hilton.
Teddy, he earned it. Split decision, close fight. I don't know what Barbara Perez saw at 117-111, but 115-113 is very digestible.
Yes, that's digestible. Not 117-111, of course, which you already mentioned. And the guy who could quite honestly make more money, just look at the crowd. Davey Hilton.
The Hilton brothers rejoice. Davey joins Matthew as a Hilton World Champion. Remember, according to the WBC, the winner has to fight Glenn Catley, who lost to Thobela in some controversy. What a scene in Montreal. Eric Morel still to come in Madison. Here's Brian and Max.
All right, guys, outstanding fight. I thought Hilton fought the best that he possibly could. It's a very good word, digestible. But
No, Ronaldo minus pretty quickly in this.